Could be the longest pickleball effect script in history. Here we go. Hybrid paddles are everywhere these days, loved for their extra reach without giving up much sweet spot size. I grabbed 6 of some of the latest hybrid paddles and put them head to head to help you find the perfect one, so let's get started. Hey everyone, Braden here with Pickleball Effect. I received so many paddles that it's impossible to review them all, although I'd like to. To keep up with new releases, I've selected 6 recent hybrid shaped paddles that I haven't had the chance to fully review, and we'll be comparing them head to head in this video. I'll also be choosing my favorite among the 6 that I'll share at the end. You might also notice that I got a little baby stash coming in. I wasn't exactly born with manly facial hair growing abilities, but my wife thinks I should give it a shot and promised to make me a smoothie every morning if I do. So here I am, trying to grow a mustache. I'm a little embarrassed about it, so I had to call it out. Alright, so for this comparison, I have the Spartus Olympus, Honolulu J2Ti, the Bread Butter Invader, Neonic Flow Prime X, Engage Pursuit V2, and the Technifibre TF-Select. All these paddles are hybrid shaped, meaning they're about 16.25 inches long and 7.7 inches wide, which sit in between an elongated and wide body paddle shape. I'm going to rank this set of paddles from 1 to 6 on offensive ability, control, and forgiveness. I'll also provide brief comments on their feel and playability and finish with thoughts on the value of each paddle and how they compare to the rest of the market. Finally, I'll crown my favorite one at the end. If you found my review helpful and decide to pick one up, you can use my code PBEffect to get a discount on them and to help support my channel. I'll have links to purchase them in the description. The paddles in this video were personally selected by me, and all thoughts expressed are my own. None of the companies featured in this video paid to be included or to influence my opinion. To determine the rankings, I ran power, pop, and spin tests, as well as drilled and played games with each paddle. I was literally carrying around 6 paddles for about 3 weeks and swapping them in and out of different games and drills to get a good feel for them. So starting with offensive ability, things I considered for this are combined power and pop levels in conjunction with maneuverability. The Spartus Olympus takes the top spot here. It is higher in power than the rest of the field and has a higher pop rating than most of them. Plus, it has a lower swing weight at 113, which keeps you quick in hand battles. When you connected with it just right on big swings, the ball would really take off for you. It's the only paddle in the bunch I'd consider a power paddle. Spots 2, 3, and 4 go to the Technifibre TF-Select, the Bread Butter Invader, and then the Neonic Flow Prime X. The TF-Select was the poppiest of the group, but had medium power. Its lower swing weight of 112 and thinner 15mm core made it quite fast and really good at picking fights at the net. The Bread Butter had a higher than average power and pop, but isn't as maneuverable with an average swing weight of 117. You could certainly find some offense with it, though it's less maneuverable and just more steady than the 2 above. The Neonic Flow Prime X is a 16mm paddle with a very low swing weight of 110 and flowed around the court well like its namesake suggested. It had good power for how light it was and was comparable to the Invader, but was near the bottom of the stack in pop. Spots 5 and 6 go to the Engage Pursuit V2 and the Honolulu J2Ti. Both of these were in the bottom half for power and pop, but I would say the Pursuit V2 offers a little more power and is lighter with a swing weight of 111 compared to the swing weight of 114 for the J2Ti. For reference to how these rank compared to other popular hybrid paddles, I'd slot the Honolulu J2K in between the Olympus and the TF-Select, and then put the 6-0 Ruby just above the J2Ti. For control, the list is nearly in reverse with a couple of changes. The J2Ti is number 1. It has a very plush feel to it. It isn't poppy and absorbs pace for you, and is also very forgiving. Spot 2 goes to the Invader. While a bit poppier than some of the others below it, it has more weight to it and felt solid and forgiving, which gave it a more consistent bounce. I found myself connecting with it and hitting better drops and resets than some of the others that were maybe a little bit poppier than it was. Spots 3 and 4 go to the Flow Prime X and the Pursuit V2. Both of these paddles had a classic, light, almost control paddle type feel to them that was familiar, and they weren't overly poppy, so you could connect and dial them in, though I wouldn't consider them control paddles per se. The one downside to these ones was that they had smaller sweet spots compared to the ones above them that caused some unforced errors here and there. Spots 5 and 6 go to the TF-Select and the Spartus Olympus. These two are the poppiest paddles of the group, which make them harder to reset and bring the ball down when you need it to. I put the TF-Select above the Olympus here because it offers a better sweet spot than the Olympus did. Now, ranking them by forgiveness level or the size of the sweet spot, we have the J2Ti, Invader, TF-Select, Flow Prime X, Olympus, and then the Pursuit V2. The bottom 3 had small enough sweet spots that you noticed it when playing, though they aren't bad enough that you should avoid them or anything like that. But adding some tungsten tape definitely improves those, and it didn't take much to help. The top 2 both felt great in this department, and the TF-Select was good, though it wouldn't save you in certain situations like the J2Ti or the Invader might. I'll share a few impressions with you while playing with them now. The Olympus obviously had the most firepower, though I didn't think the sweet spot was as generous as other reviews I've seen for it suggested. It's not tiny like a Selkirk Power Air, but more medium sized and in line with a typical 14mm thermoform paddle. It has a firmer, dense feel to it and is sort of tingy. It's not a foreign feel, but not one you immediately connect with and take some time to get used to. There aren't many hybrid shaped power paddles out there, and this is easily the best one in that department. The Invader surprised me and felt like one of the more complete paddles of the bunch. It has a fiberglass layer in it that brings some offense to the table, but its polyester / carbon fiber face softens that up and just gives you a good feel and a nice blend of power and control. Though it is a little heavier, it played stable and consistent, and if you added some weight to the handle, it made it faster in hand battles. The TF-Select was most similar to the Olympus, though not as powerful from the baseline. However, I added some weight to it, and that brought it to life from the backcourt and gave it more offensive ability. Its 15mm core gave you some pop, but maintained enough forgiveness to give you margins. Has a little stiffer feel to it, but not over the top. The Flow Prime X has a higher power and lower pop profile, was very maneuverable for a 16mm hybrid, and had a pleasant feel to it. It doesn't have an oversized sweet spot, but you gain maneuverability in exchange for it. The Honolulu J2Ti played like a control paddle and didn't give me as much as I expected offensively, though it is a very good control paddle that feels plush, is very forgiving, and easy to pick up and play. The Pursuit V2 played light and fast with a medium low power and pop, though it wasn't as stable as the others on this list, which held it back. Adding some weight helped it dramatically and really brought it to life, and it began to play similar to the TF-Select, though I would take the TF-Select over it because it was still more stable and forgiving in general. Let's look at value and market comparisons now. So we'll start with the most expensive one and work our way down. So these are their costs after using my code PB effect. The Technifibre TF-Select at $198 is a maneuverable, aggressive, all-court style paddle. I like how it played, but it's similar to the Honolulu J2K that only costs $140. In most cases, I say just go get the J2K because they are so similar and the price is so much lower. However, if you want a little more maneuverability and a longer handle than the J2K, then the TF-Select is worth it. The Spartus Olympus at $180 offers more power and better impact feel than competitors like the Chorus Fire HX and the 6-0 Black Diamond, making it worth the price. The Invader at $162 has a nice balance of offense, forgiveness, and feel. You could say its competitors include the J2K and the original Chorus Shapeshifter. It's softer than the J2K and cheaper than the Shapeshifter, making it a little different and a good value. The Engage Pursuit V2 at $162 is light and falls into the all-court category, leaning control, but it has a smaller sweet spot, which is what holds it back for me. I would recommend the 6-0 DBD or the Valère Mach 1 14mm paddles instead. Those are thermoformed, play similar, and are just more forgiving, and have the same price points. The J2Ti at $140 is an aggressive control style paddle. Honolulu's forgiving hybrid shape is unique, and most competitors are $150 plus, making it a good value. The Neonic Flow Prime X at $126 is a rare performance level paddle at this price, offering a lightweight, decent power, and low pop profile, though you do sacrifice some sweet spot. Similar paddles like the Rhombus Nova series and others are all priced higher, so I do think this one is a good value as well. Alright, lastly, I'll crown my favorite of the group. For me, it was the Bread Butter Invader. I thought it used a really clever combination of materials that gave it above average offensive firepower while maintaining good stability and feel. This is the one I kept going back to the most as I was playtesting all of these. While it was heavier than the others, I added a 6-gram flick weight to the butt cap that made it easier to accelerate through backhand, so it wasn't a big issue to me. And then my tacky neon pickleball effect overgrip looked really good on it. If you want to copy my setup, I have links to the flick weight and the overgrip in the video description. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helped.
You might also notice that I got a little baby stash coming in. I wasn't exactly born with manly facial hair growing abilities, but my wife thinks I should give it a shot and promised to make me a smoothie every morning if I do. So here I am, trying to grow a mustache.